Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Before I Go podcast. I'm hoping all is well and you are enjoying the first signs of spring wherever you may be. I took a few days off from work and spent some quality time with my daughter, and that time was a gentle reminder that I need to use all my PTO because those days off are not only earned and deserved, but they're also greatly needed. So if you haven't scheduled your time off, do it. Trust me, your job is not going to shut down because you weren't there. Give yourself the gift of taking time off, even if you feel like you don't need it. If you have the ability, take it. Now, before I get started with today's topic, I'm going to do something a little different and share a short testimony. Last weekend, the weather was pretty warm, and I noticed the grass was getting pretty high, and it was going to be time to mow the lawn. And I've learned from past experience that the first cut of the season would be tricky. The lawnmower has been sitting in the garage untouched for about 6 months, and it would need time to warm up. Now, I remember the first time this happened to me, and when the lawnmower wouldn't start, I was convinced that it was just broken. And when I discovered that the repairs would take weeks, I just decided to buy a new one. I'm impatient. I'm a person that wants what I want when I want it. So when I decide that I'm going to cut my grass on a certain day, then that is what I'm going to do. Back to the story. So last weekend was a perfect day to cut the grass, just warm enough where I could work up a sweat, but not too warm where I would pass out. I put fresh gas in the mower, I added motor oil, and I did all the things that I'm supposed to do. But when I pulled that cord, nothing happened. I tried several more times until I got tired. I'm praying the whole time for the thing to start, and it just wouldn't. What did I do? I got online and began pricing lawnmowers, of course. I was overwhelmed by all the options and decided to stop. I closed the laptop, and I reasoned that I probably just flooded the engine, and the next day would also be a good weather day, so I would just wait 24 hours before making a hasty decision. Fast forward to the next day, and I take the mower out again, and I do all the things, and when I pull the cord again, nothing. I was getting frustrated, and I was tempted to just drive to the store and get a new mower. Then I remembered what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, "Lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path." My understanding was telling me to go buy a new lawnmower. So I prayed again, "Lord, I'm acknowledging you. Please direct my path. What should I do?" After that, I tried yanking the cord again, and after 2 more tries, it started right up. And I was the happiest I had ever been for a woman who was mowing the lawn. Take from that what you will. On to today's topic. Let me start with a quick question. Do you ever experience FOMO, or the fear of missing out? Do you get anxious when you think that you're missing out on something, whether it be the latest event or news story or new television program or newest Marvel movie? Do you always have to be in the know? I never thought I was that person. I pretty much keep to myself and pride myself on minding the business that pays me, that being my own. However, recently, I decided to do a fast of sorts from the internet. No Instagram, no Facebook, and no YouTube. I don't know for how long, just until the next news cycle and all the controversy surrounding the Oscars was over. It was too much, and I didn't like how it was making me feel. I've said it before, we should not know this much about each other. Anyway, it wasn't hard to avoid the internet, but I did notice a shift, an internal shift. And I started asking myself, why do I spend so much time scrolling Instagram and watching YouTube videos? The answer was easy. Boredom. I was bored. It wasn't that I wanted to stay informed or that I was afraid of missing out on something. It was just that I was bored and I needed something to pass the time. So instead of doing something productive to alleviate the boredom, I would grab my phone and mindlessly scroll, killing countless numbers of brain cells in the process. Okay, I know that's dramatic, but can anyone else relate to this? Just me? Okay. Look, I am not an expert in anything but my own life. And as I explained in my testimony, I cannot always trust my own understanding of what's happening. But what I have discovered during this internet fast is that filling the hours with mindless scrolling was pulling me away from discovering purpose. Now, instead of having a fear of missing out, I am discovering the absolute joy of missing out, or JOMO. I have found that the hours spent engaging in mindless activity was actively distracting me from my real interests to the point where I had forgotten what my interests were. The joy of missing out has freed me up to explore the things that are truly important to me, specifically reading, and more importantly, writing. I am a writer. And for those of you who do not know, I published a novel entitled Raymond's Daughters several years ago, and I have a few other credits to my name, but the novel is what brought me real joy. And when I didn't write another one, I convinced myself that I only had the one story in me. However, through the joy of missing out, I have realized that's not true. Now, I may never hit the New York Times bestsellers list, or maybe I will, but even if I don't, I know that I have stories to share. So stay tuned. What is my point? So many things are competing for your attention, and if you're not careful, those things will pull you away from what your true purpose is. Don't leave this world without exploring that. Now, I don't know how long this internet fast is going to last. What I do know is that the other day I accidentally clicked the YouTube bookmark on my work computer, and I saw the thumbnails for all these videos that I would normally watch. And I'm happy to say that my curiosity did not kick in. I easily clicked off the page and went back to what I was doing. I have to tell you, since August 2020, I have given up meat, romantic relationships, alcohol, and now the internet. And in the process, I have added meditation, more cooking, more reading, and more writing. It's a balancing act. The truth is, you cannot remove something from your life without replacing it with something else. Otherwise, the thing you gave up will see that empty space and creep back in. Think about it. Too many times in my life, I have noticed that when I gave something up, I made room for something better to take its place. In other words, sometimes you have to let go of the very thing that you think you need before God is able to bless you with something even better. For example, I remember when I decided to finally leave a highly toxic relationship for good. And the very next day, my real estate agent called me and said the offer I put in on my house was accepted. Coincidence? Maybe. Except I don't believe in coincidences. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. But before I go, let me share this with you from author C. Joybell C. Last night, I lost the world and gained the universe. I'll see you next time.